Well, hey everybody, it's Chris from SideshowGamble, and welcome back to the table today. So today we're going to do a video. It's not my typical thing. I'm going to do this video for Godfrey. He's been commenting on some of the videos, and I think he's looking for just information. And he was asking a few questions about how I throw the dice and what I do and what kind of my mechanics are, and I realized I really haven't done a video on that. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form a dice influencer or a dice setter or DI or any of those words. I just think that I've got pretty decent, not good, but decent mechanics that I can stick to for a good amount of time. And I wanted to kind of explain to Godfrey. So this video is for Godfrey and kind of show him how I do and just kind of walk through it a little bit. So you guys know a craps table. And you guys know how the deal goes. All right, we're stick left one, which is to the left of the stick man. That's why they call it stick left. Like I'm to the left of the stick man. Stick left 1, 2, 3. You got the hook. You got the end of the table. You got the, I don't even know what they call it. One of those is the hook, either the back corner or this corner. And then same on the other side. So first things first, when I come to a craps table, I want to play. If I'm there to play and make money, I want to play from my spot that I'm comfortable in. If I'm not in that spot, then I don't really go into the table and play the way I would normally play. But if I do get in my spot, and we're going to assume today that I got into my spot because, well, I'm at my table and there's nobody else here but me. So it's my turn to shoot. I'm situating. I'm kind of watching the table, seeing how things go. First things first is I not really a feel for the dice, but I try and figure out and mimic myself to my typical throwing. So I usually like to be about stick left 1, stick left 2, somewhere in there. Stick left 2 is where I'm the most comfortable. And the first thing I'm looking at is the table when I get there, okay? So when I'm looking at the table, I'm trying to picture out, where my hand is. And my hand, when I'm just doing a slight lean over the table, puts it right here. That's about where I'm most comfortable. I got my right foot back. My left foot is up underneath. Usually my thigh is touching the drink rail underneath the armrest. And I put my left hand, you guys can't see it, but I'll show it down here. I put my left hand right in the chip rack, like this. I put my palm right down in there. Sorry, I'm trying to do it without looking. Put my palm right down in here, and then I just grip the table. Put my thumb in there, and then even here, I'm still right where I need to be. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, once I get that situated, I'll get there, I'll wait for the dice. I usually put my hand down, just kind of feel the table, all right? Just making sure that sometimes my right elbow is leaning on, but there's where I'm comfortable. That's where I'm standing. I'm good to go. My left foot's forward, my right foot's back. I've got a slight lean. I'm not leaning too far over, okay? So then the dice come to me. I grab them. I usually put them right up here, just a little bit further, where I've got to kind of get straight down in on top, and I'll move back over this way so you can see. All right. So on my table, I use this field line right here between the don't pass and the field. And I set my dice as quickly as I possibly can. Now, and just get them. I don't have to they don't have to be perfectly lined up. I just kind of get them there. And then I use my fingers, and I think you can see my pinky there. So I use my pinky to kind of squeeze everything together. Now, one of the things I've learned from doing this is where I think, like right there, I think that's the old way I used to do it. You see how I'll hold them up here. You see how they move back and forth? Like, see how I can off kilter them? I'm building a gap in there because my thumb originally was not perfectly lined up with my middle finger. So if I show that, and hopefully you guys can see that, if I show that, there's a better, see how they're not lined up perfectly. I'm more on the blue die, and that red die is just kind of sitting out there. They wiggled, all right? And that's what I was like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. So when I'm gripping, I purposely try and get my middle finger right between, and then I move my thumb to the right. And now I am more centered. Trying to get a good angle at that so you can see it. They don't wiggle as much. There's still going to be a little bit of wiggle. There's not much of a gap. So that's what I do, is I take my time. If I don't get a good grip, I just set them back down, but I'm using my pointer finger and my pinky, and I'm trying to get situated. All right? And once I do that, I lay them on the L. And as Dice Dr. Dan pointed out to me when I was doing this, and he did a house call with me, I was all over the place. I was setting them all over the table when I would go to toss. I tried the backswing and go out, but I realized when I was doing backswing, I was putting too much power because I felt like I had to throw it hard. Okay? And I think you can do backswing. You know, I know George from CY does backswing. And I've seen a lot of other really good dice influencers do backswing. So I'm not going to knock on backswing in any way, shape, or form. And I think this all comes down to one key piece. But for Godfrey, the reason I do what I do is I feel that I can control this every single time. I can get the same grip. I put it on the L, so I know I'm in the same starting spot, which in reality is right. So I'm going to put my nose out here a little bit. It's right beneath my nose, all right? So no matter what table I go to, I'm just going to find whatever's on the table, whether it be the Passline, maybe it's the back of the L on their table, it's the front of the L on my table. I just find that spot, and I relax my hand, okay? That's the next piece, all right? So I'm going to relax my hand a little bit. I'm going to grab the dice, and I want you to look in this camera right here. Look in this camera right down here where my hand is. Here's something that I just learned, all right? I've got them set. Now, here's what I was doing. I was putting my fingers on the bottom were flat down. Now, I'm going to show you something. I can pull my fingers away, all right? It's all on my thumb is where I'm putting the pressure, okay? So I got to set it back up again. It's hard to show, okay? What it is I'm putting my knuckles from my fingers on the table, and I'm putting most of the weight on my thumb to push in. I can correct the dice here, but I'm not pushing too hard, because if I push too hard, I start to split the dice. All right, it's just a light pressure to take it off my fingers. Okay? I say okay a lot, don't I? All right, and it's just enough that I can then be relaxed. I'm letting my hand relax on the table. I'm taking as much pressure off, and then I look. Now, where I look on the table has changed several times, okay? I've tried looking over here at the P, right at the top of it, the bottom of it, the A, the L, the E, the N. I'm looking for something down here, okay? And I think this is a key variable on everything that I do when I do play, especially at different tables. Every table is different. There's no regulation on what's underneath this felt. Some tables are hard, some tables are bouncy, some tables have years of felt underneath, some tables have newspaper. It doesn't matter. You need to understand that you have to learn the table. And I think we get into betting and other things at that same point. However, I'm looking down here at something, okay? So what I'm going to do today is we're going to look at right at the top of this A, right at the tip, right? That's where I'm going to put my eyeballs. I'm going to stare there. No matter what, I'm going to stare right there, because I don't want my vision of where I'm looking to throw off what my hand's going to do, okay? So we're at the table. We've got a position. Left leg is up against the chip rail. This is where I sometimes pinch that belly hair a little bit, but I've got the dice. They're in my hands. I get situated. I do a little tap. That was from Duracell. D8 was always telling me to do a little tap. It kind of levels out the bottom of the dice. Now, before we're even going to toss yet, I've got that pressure up on the thumb, but I'm going to grip it just a little bit because I'm going to show you. All right, I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera. I hope it does. I think it will. I bring the dice up. This is about where I'm wanting to release. See how my hand's just kind of right there at the rail down there? It's right there. That's where I'm wanting to release. That's going to keep my dice low, and it usually gets me right behind the pass line. But I'm looking at the piece. So I've got a couple things here. One, when I'm coming up to the rail, I'm letting go. And when my hand comes in front of my eyes, when it comes in front of my stare point, I'm not releasing my thumb. Well, kind of. It's hard to explain. what it is I want it kind of just, I want them to fall out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, maybe I can do this with two hands. Maybe I can show it. All right. So when the dice are coming up, let me get my grip. All right. So I got my grip. When I'm bringing my hand up, I'm looking for the dice to roll out. That's what I'm looking for. I do not want to push out. Okay, so because if I roll out, and I'll try and show it this way. All right, when I'm coming up and I let them roll out, they're going to come out. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm letting the centrifugal force of the toss let them roll out. That's how light the grip has got to be. Okay, but your grip has got to be centered between the dice. All right, let it roll out. Now, when you hear that we pushed it or you hear that stuff, there's a couple different things. I have pushed and they split. That's not what I'm trying to do. I don't want to split the dice because then they go two separate directions. You'll also see where you'll hear that I airdropped it, where I just let go and I didn't let it roll and they just kind of fly out and then they'll shoot across, all right? And that's going to give me a 7. And I'm just doing hard ways. I'm still practicing with hard ways. Okay, so let's see. We talked about the rollout. That's the goal. That is probably the number one thing that I mess up on all my tosses is not letting them roll out because I overthink it. Okay, so we're gonna give this a shot. We'll give it a few shots here. Trying to do too long of a video. We've been talking for 10 minutes now. So I got my dice. I'm situated. Now I'm gonna throw nothing but 7s. I guarantee it. Watch this. All right, I've got that just a little bit. I'm looking at the top of the A. Okay. Actually, there's one other thing I want to explain. Sorry. There's a lot to this, guys. It seems like a lot. It's really not. You practice and practice, you'll get the muscle memory down pat pretty good. And I used to practice with a cardboard box and just an old rollout. You can buy it off Amazon, a rollout felt. And I had another table, a folding table off to the side. I just measured out 8 feet, and that's what I was doing for probably a good 6 months. All right, so we got our dice. We're situated. Now, so I've got my aim point down. I've figured out where I want to be on aiming. When I bring the dice up, and I'll probably do this the first time, I'm looking straight down right now. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to find my comfort. Like, that's where I'm comfortable. That's about where it is, but now look at my dice. I don't know if you can see them very well, but do you see how they're at an angle? But if I move them like this, they're more toward they're more flat with the table. Angle, they're going to shoot off to the left. I do this, just a slight change. So, come back down, come back up. I'm more flat with the table. I'll move them that way so you can see them against the back wall there. I'm flat with the table. All right, and that's why my stare point is important, because if I stare at the E and I come up, I'm flat. All right, if I stare over here at the P and I come up, I'm at an angle. All right, so I let the table tell me where I should be shooting. So let's start looking at the A, and let's see what we can do. And I want them to roll out of my hand. I want the centrifugal force to take them out of my hand. And we got us a 5-4-9. Now, that's good. They rolled out, and we get exactly what a number we're looking for. Remember, I don't look at DI or dice influence or dice control as I'm going to hit the same number every single time. What I am looking for is consistency, okay? I didn't exactly see where those landed, but they were roughly in this area, and that's where I'm looking to land them, all right, every single time. If I can keep the landing zone, my stare point, my grip, all right, and then my stance over here on the pass line before I toss, I've taken out the same location. I've taken out how I'm tossing and releasing. Right? The only thing that I still have problems controlling is the centrifugal force of them coming out of my hands. So we got us 5-4-9. We'll mark that up. There we go. And we'll just give it a few shots here. This is just a quick video for Godfrey. All right? And we're out on the 9. Now, this is one of the other things that I think you should definitely add to your practice is background noise. Have other people talking to you. Have other people asking you questions, because it's going to happen at a live table. All right. And one of the things it's allowed me to do is having that with the live streams has allowed me to stay focused. All right. So I've got my stance. I'm looking at my A. And we get an ace deuce. All right. But you guys know me. I throw threes. Doesn't matter what the dice set is. All right. But they didn't come out the same way. That one, we had our right die was high. They came out and they went at two different altitudes. They went like this. All right. Because my right ring finger held on too long. Because I was too focused at the rollout. I was too focused at making sure it came out the right way. And that's why we practice, is we have to just let it go. All right, so we're good. We're looking at the top of the A. I pushed with my thumb on that one because they split, but we did get a 3-6-9. All right, so what I recommend, and I think George recommends this also, is pick a hard, most people do. Pick a Hardway set, doesn't matter. Pick the 5-4, the 6-3, the 6-2, does not matter. 5-6, does not matter what you throw. Just pick a Hardway set and toss it, and toss it, and toss it. Just, you're not worried about the dice combinations. You can change the dice set around to give you dice combinations that you're looking for. You are just looking at focusing on mechanics. So like when I'm really practicing, I don't put bets out there. I got no bets out there. I'm just tossing and I'm recording my throws in the KPI. That's all I'm doing. So now we're on a come out. I'm situated. I'm looking again. All right. We didn't push. We didn't push with that. The dice stayed together almost all the way, but we were a little to the right of our landing zone because we shot a little left. So we weren't exactly flat to the table the way we were looking for. And we got a 3-5 easy 8. All right. We'll go a few more minutes. All right. So like I said, I'm no dice influencer. I'm just a guy that practices a lot. If you think you can come out to the table and go at it and really get after it, if you are somebody that can mimic the same thing over and over, I'd say you probably might have a good chance. I don't know. Everyone's different. We're set. We got our light grip, light touch. I'm looking at the A, the top of the A. And we got a hard 4. Okay. But our landing zone was consistent. We did push a little bit on the thumb because they did split. And if you want some really good advice, George from CY has got some really good videos. You'll have to go into his playlists. He's got some really good videos that explain how the dice react by what we did with our hand. And that is going to be a 1-2-3. But that one, we didn't get any roll. There was no roll on that. That was kind of just, we threw them straight out. And that's the other piece, is talking while I'm doing this. So Godfrey, you're giving me some more practice. I appreciate you. Thank you for asking me to do this. All right. Situated again, and that one we went real high, but it's a 6-4-10. They didn't split apart until we landed. But you'll notice that one we got all the way in, right in here. 6-4-10. And that's all we're doing. We are just trying to mimic whatever the comfort is. And I think that's the key thing, is if you find whatever way it is comfortable for you to throw the dice, and then start developing your mechanics around your comfort level or your comfort position. Those are at an angle, but it's a 3-1-4. And eventually you will find a dice set that is pretty forgiving when you have a bad or one of your mechanics is off on your toss. It's not easy to get every piece of your mechanic every single time. But over lots and lots of practice and lots of dice tosses, you can get there. And we got us a 4-5-9. So we need the 8. The betting strategy is the betting strategy. That's not what I'm worried about when I'm doing this. This is, this is merely me just trying to see how consistent I can maintain and for how long. And there is a 6-2 easy 8. All right, so we hit another point. 6 deuce. I don't know if that's going to help. Hopefully it does. I'm all about sharing my experiences at the table. If you go back and watch some of my really, really older videos, you'll notice that I shot like crap all the time. And some days you do. Don't think that DI or people that practice this on a religious basis that are always going to come out here and get a 30-40 roller. It ain't going to happen. We might get 2, 10 to 15 rollers in there, maybe a 20 roller plus, but usually we're about average. We're just more consistent on what we're doing, okay? Now, anybody that's watching this for a first time, and welcome to the channel, I will give a piece of advice to you. If you're at a craps table and you see somebody at the other end of the table and you watch them toss and they're hitting a certain spot on the table and you want to make money, don't put your bets in their landing zone. Move them out of the way, okay? It's just, if you see me, for example, if you see me down here and I'm landing right in this area and you're standing here and you put your bets right there, you're almost guaranteed to throw a 7, all right? If you see that, just put them off to the side. The dealer knows, and you're letting the shooter know, hey, keep making me money, man. I'm all about you making money. I don't want to be in your way, all right? But when you get people that come out and they're excited to play and they do this, well, guess what? Now you're messing with the shooter. So one of the things, and maybe we'll do another video on table etiquette. But if you're a don't player, I mean, I fully support any way anybody wants to play the table. I will adjust, but you will get to that point. So Godfrey, I hope this video helps you. I use a lot of the stuff of how I do things so that I do the exact same thing every single time. And I hope this video helps you out, boss. I really do. And we're at about 23 minutes. So if you have any additional questions, please drop me a comment down below. I still will take advice from everybody. There's George from CY, there's Ed from Roll to Win, Brian from Hawaii Crap Shooters, Jeff over at Mid-Atlantic Craps, John from Pro Craps, Craig from Old Bay Craps, Chris from Dice Degen, you got Jeremy, you got Jacob from Wager Me This, Jeremy from Color Up, Jacob from Wager Me This, and there's Texas Crap Shooter, Alfredo. There's tons of people out there. If you're truly wanting to learn, don't just watch me. Go watch all of them. Look at how everyone holds their dice. Look at how everyone does their swing, their toss, what they're talking. Listen to what they're saying, and you will realize that every one of us has a slight difference to how we toss the dice. Every one of us. Because it's not one size fits all, folks. Everyone has their own mechanic. That is the piece that I think makes DIs DIs. Everyone does something slightly different. I could do this with just my thumb and my middle finger. I could do it with all 3 fingers. If you watch Ed, Ed's got a really good deep grip. All right. So does George. George does a backswing. All right. Ed doesn't do a backswing. But George has got a nice, sweet landing zone. Ed's very consistent and understands. They both understand what the dice are doing and how to respond to it. Way better than I ever will. But hopefully that helps everybody out there. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later.